My name is Daniel Burke, and for my five themes project, I chose the Wakakusa Yamayaki Festival in Nara, Japan. So, what is the Wakakusa Yamayaki? Wakakusa is actually a mountain in Japan, and Yamayaki literally translates into mountain roast. So this festival is local to Nara, Japan, and the main event, as we'll see later, is actually setting the mountainside ablaze. It begins with a short parade, or it begins with a parade, a procession through the streets of Nara, and a short fireworks show leading to torches being thrown on the dead grass of the mountain. The fire lasts between 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the moisture content. So, if it's been really dry and it hasn't rained in a while, then it's gonna go up pretty fast. But sometimes it'll take upwards to an hour if it's been pretty wet. Where and when? Wakakusa Yamayaki has always taken place on Nara, Japan, at the base of this mountain. The festival is normally held towards the last few days of January, but this date is pretty flexible depending on how bad the weather is and what is needed. So the festivities start about noon with a parade, and there's all kinds of scattered events throughout the city celebrating this whole deal. Here's a picture of the actual mountainside. You can kind of see the bare spot in the middle. That's where they actually set fire to each year. The origins. So there are two main theories that explain the beginning of this festival. The popular one and the one they actually use that as the story for the festival is that these two temples were quarreling over who actually owned this mountain, and they brought in a mediator that ended up deciding that they couldn't reach a settlement, so they just decided to burn the mountain. The other theory is that the people of the city burned this side of the mountain because the wild boar population was kind of getting crazy and invading their space, and they didn't like that. So here's just a funny image. This is what we normally think of when you maybe hear wild boar, but this is a little bit more realistic. Kind of mean little animals, eat really anything, and so you don't really want those coming into your yard or charging your children or any of your property. So Nara Park is actually like at the base of this mountain, and this is where most of the festival takes place. But this park is actually known for all these almost domesticated deer. They over all kinds of years, this population has really become comfortable to people because they will actually feed them, and these deer kind of just run around like they own the place. Here's a picture. You can just kind of see um, how they just lay around wherever they feel like it, and they'll pester the people wanting food. So here's actually a sign that they put around the park as a warning. You can see they bite, kick, butt, knock down, and they can actually get pretty aggressive sometimes. So this sign is just to show, just to be careful around. Okay, so before the show, the main events don't begin till evening, so there are many festivities throughout the day. We've already mentioned that before, but we'll kind of look at least one of the main events. This time, tourists also like to just explore the city and Nara Park and just kind of get to know the culture of this area. And there are just, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different things that a person could go and do while waiting for this show. Okay, so probably the most popular side event that I read about on any of the sites is the Simbai rice cracker throwing competition. So, you to get in this, you get one of the giant rice crackers. Normally, they use kind of a smaller version they sell to feed the deer, but this you're gonna kind of get a giant one, and the game is you're gonna try to throw it over 30 meters, and then they're gonna enter you in the prize drawings, and so that involves you get to um, if you win, then they'll put your name down and you'll be entered into a bunch of these cool prizes. So then there's the parade procession. About 5 p.m., all the torchbearers leave from the Kasuga Tashi Shrine and head towards the base of the mountain. Once the procession reaches a bonfire at the base, the actual fireworks show begins. So there's a picture of some of the fireworks. Um, it's really cool because these people, they involve just all kinds of cool festivities with this event. So here's the main event, the thing that this whole festival is based off of, the mountain roast. So the whole fireworks show goes on for about 15 minutes, and then about there, there's a whole lot of firefighters involved in actually setting this whole entire mountain on fire. So they grab a bunch of torches and they get it from the bonfire and they go to different parts trying to just get a raging fire set up. It's gonna take a while for it to actually spread, but once it does, the mountain kind of catches on and it burns within the hour. The fire actually grows so huge that good viewing locations are found throughout the entire city. So I've got a couple pictures of that. Here's the actual mountain burning. You can see the firefighters lined up at the side there, the volunteers that are trying to get the blaze set up. Here's a really pretty picture. The whole mountain's on fire, and this is like a few miles within the city. You actually get a really good view of what's going on there, and you can see there's fireworks too. And here's the some of the firefighters grabbing the torches, taking them up to the mountain. Okay, so a big thing with this whole course was the five themes of geography. I mean, we used those whenever we would do our worksheets, and they were just found throughout the textbook and everything like that. So, using the five themes, I'm going to explain kind of the location of Nara and Wakakusa Mountain, the characteristics of the culture as defined by the place theme, a description of the human environment interaction in the festival. Also, I'm going to explain how movement, the theme of movement, is involved regarding this festival. Finally, the regions that Nara is a part of, and kind of describe that. So, location. The absolute location of Nara, Japan, is at the coordinates 34 degrees, 41 and oh 06 north, and 135 degrees, 48 17. I don't really know how to read all this, but those are actually the coordinates that I looked up. And the relative location. So I found this map right here. Nara, Japan is located about 230 miles from Tokyo. So that could kind of be like the relative location uh, related to Tokyo in a way. Then we've got place. So there's a lot of things you can deal with the place theme. So we got physical characteristics. One of the main physical characteristics is the actual mountain that is celebrated in this festival. It's a pretty important part of this. Then Nara is predominantly Buddhist Japanese culture, and there's a few shrines and temples actually. The Todaya Ji and the Kofuka Ji are temples um, that are located in Nara, and a famous shrine is the Kasuga Taisha. And this right here is a picture of um, the Todaya Ji temple. Human environment interaction. Okay, so this theme is probably the most important in context of this festival. For the original reason, um, the people have adapted the mountain, and now it's pretty much used for this festival. So this is going to leave it in a much different form than it would have without this festival, because the mountain before was supposedly this kind of forest like the rest of the mountain that the wild boar population would live in. Also, one that people may not think of is the deer population. How most of the time when we think of deer, we're going to think of those timid, fearful creatures that we're used to in the United States. But these are almost, it seems like an entirely different species because they're so used to people. I mean, they act more like they're in a petting zoo, just always begging for food and all that. So we've also got movement. Movement is not the festival itself, because this festival is always located in the same city, in the same mountain, but uh, it's turned kind of from this local festival into more of a world known event. People from all over the world will visit just to kind of see this spectacle and to kind of get to know the culture and um, just to kind of see this crazy festival go down. Regions. So Japan in our textbook was formerly part of East Asia. Nara is pretty close to the middle of Japan from what we saw that map earlier, and Japan is eastern part of East Asia. So that's kind of the regions where this place is at. Here's a really good picture of just the people. You can see the bonfire towards the right that they use to actually set the mountain apart. So, a few final thoughts. While no one is for sure exactly how this tradition began, I think we can all agree that it's got a permanent touch on Nara, and it has its place in this culture. It shows just the resilience of this culture to year after year celebrate this and just carry it throughout the generations, even if we don't know how it started. Um, it's just a tradition that now everybody has learned to enjoy for such a long time. It's also really a great chance for people of all cultures and traditions to come and enjoy the creativity and the history of this world class festival. Well, um, that's it on my side. I've got the citations, and I hope you enjoyed it.